Hi there. A lot of people have been asking about the tuning for Dreaming Among the Stars, my new piece. It's a little bit of an unusual tuning. It took me a while to get my head around it, but I'll tell you how I did it, and this is how I approach new tunings generally. So, first thing I did was lower the E string down to D. So that's easily done. You normally play the D string, and then play the E string. When you hear that it's an octave lower, D string down there. You're going to do the same thing with the top E string. Now if you have trouble with that, what I sometimes do is play the 3rd fret on the B string, and then the bottom string, the thinnest string, should be the same. So we've now got, I think they call this double dropped D tuning. Now it's just D, 3 Ds, D, the lowest D, the D string, what's normally the D string, what used to be the E string. Now here's the bit that's a little bit different. I tuned the A string down to F sharp. So the way you can do that is play the 4th fret on the thickest string, which is now a D, quite a long way down, isn't it? And we're going to do the same with the G string, so it's only going to go down a semitone, the G string. So we're going to play F sharp, the 4th fret on the D string, and then you've got another F sharp. So here's the tuning. So we've got D, F sharp, D, F sharp, B, D. Now I did do a version of this on my 7 string, and with that one I actually had the 7th string, or the thickest string, down to a B. So that made everything in B minor, because B minor is a relative minor of D major. So the first thing I like to do when I have a new tuning is find out which strings are the same. Now we've got these 3 D strings are the same, so that's going to help you. So if you learn your D major scale, and I talk a lot about playing scales on one string. Make sure you can do that, and then so that already gives you quite a lot of notes that you actually know where they are if you know those things. Now you can then begin to move those strings together. You can play your octaves. And because we're mostly tuned to a D chord with a B added, so like a D6 chord, we can actually play tunes in octaves with the other open strings just ringing, and I do that a lot. So as you saw, I already, without thinking, began then to occasionally stop one of the octaves moving and keep the other one going. So I might go. I get something like that. I think I like that. And as I talk a lot about remembering what you just did, let's put that D, put the sort of bass line now on the thicker D. And now even just playing those two, keeping the same shapes but playing like something quite different on each string. Bringing in the bass string. All right, so that's the first thing. Now we've also got these two F sharps. Yeah. Now, again, you can do the same kind of thing. Now, the tricky thing is we don't have an F sharp open string normally, so it's kind of important to start thinking about that. How are we going to work out what the notes are? So we do have a G. So we do normally have an open G string, so we know where the notes are on the G string. So on an F sharp, they're just going to be a semitone lower, like a fret lower. So if you're going to play an A, it's going to be on the 3rd fret, not the 2nd fret. So that kind of helps, if you're going to just play like D here, which would normally be on the 7th fret on the G, and then your D major scale coming down the string there. So you can start to sort of see where those notes are now. So that's beginning to just kind of orientate yourself. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with just fiddling around, and I fiddled around quite a lot and just found this chord. And even without really knowing what it is, it actually, I just kind of know it works. So I came up with a sort of main sort of melody is it's just a diagonal line from the 7th fret. And then I know that on the 1st fret of the F sharp chords you have this G. And then the 2nd fret of the D strings. So that's how you can begin to find your way around a less familiar tuning. Now, you might notice that it sounds, maybe my guitar sounds a little bit different today, apart from the fact it's a different guitar. I broke a thumbnail and a fingernail this week. I've been doing quite a lot of handyman work around the house, and it's taken its toll on my fingernails, so at the moment I'm playing this, I've got this slightly dull sound. Anyway, hope you have a good week, and I hope that helps you, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.